Now, in this section of the course, we're going to be talking about Azure App Services and specifically web apps. Now, we've been talking about virtual machines up till now, and a virtual machine is pretty easy to understand. It is a virtual representation of a physical server. You either have a Windows or a Linux server. You can remote or SSH into it. You have full control. You can install software. You can navigate to any directory. It's your machine to do with what you wish. The Azure App Service is a little different. To demonstrate, I'm going to go into this Create a Resource. Now, we will see that the first two ones are Windows Server and Ubuntu Server. The third one down the list says Web App, and that is a app service. An app service is basically an abstraction above hardware where you don't have control over the actual hardware. You don't even really know what the characteristics are of the hardware, but you have no access to it. But you just upload your code and your configuration for that code, and Azure will run it. So think of it as a way for you to upload code and not to have to be concerned about managing a server. Now, to get to web app, we got here right here on the getting started screen, but we can scroll down to the last category called web, and we can see that we have logic apps, we have web apps, app service plane, we'll talk about that, and app service environment. Now, like I said, web apps, I'll tell you the advantages of web apps first of all. So a web app is got lots of extra deployment tools. It's got built-in integration into Microsoft Visual Studio, got integration into Azure DevOps, into GitHub Actions, and basically it's an environment that's waiting to go, and you just simply upload your code. And there's a lot of appeals to that. It is very similar to running code in an already running IIS environment. So you've got a server and you've got IIS web server installed, and you're just plopping your code into a directory. It's already configured and ready to go, and you're going to have a website ready to go. Now, you may have heard other terms like mobile app and API app. Those are all just web apps. API app is a web app that doesn't have a user interface, but simply communicates in XML or JSON. A mobile app is a back-end app that integrates with a mobile on the front end and can also do things like notifications to Apple, iOS, and Google Android. So it's all covered by web app. But you can go into here. I believe it's still possible to go and search for mobile app. Oh, they've removed it. So you used to be able to search for mobile app and it was a separate icon. It's all web app now. Okay. So we're going to go and create a web app coming up. And we're going to then demonstrate how this works. We're going to look into the settings, look into the integrations, how easy it is to get code into a web app compared to what you would do for a VM. So in this section, we're talking about web apps.